Access to justice remains a challenge to many Ugandans. In a 2016 survey on the justice needs in Uganda, the Hague Institute for Innovation of Law, HIL, found that over a 4-year period, almost 90% of Ugandan people experienced one or more serious justice needs that were difficult to resolve. Some of the reasons why justice is unattainable include ignorance of the law, high costs of legal services, and scarcity of lawyers in rural areas. For a population of 41 million people, 27% of Ugandans live in urban areas, as reported by the Uganda National Housing Survey report of 2019-2020. And nearly 90% of lawyers work in urban areas, leaving the larger 73% of the population with little or no access to a lawyer. In the past 2 years, Uganda has experienced 2 nationwide lockdowns in response to the COVID-19 pandemic and a volatile presidential election season. Even with existing mechanisms by other justice actors to ensure people have access to the law, these lockdowns meant that the public had limited access to ordinary methods of information acquisition. Physical appearances at institutions of justice such as courts, police, government administration offices, and many others were halted.
I have always been faced with the challenge of women coming to me about their spouses being, behind bars. It is not very easy for them to go and check on those people in the prison simply because of COVID-19.
Our mission is to get the law to serve the vulnerable across Africa. And at Barefoot Law, we do this using technology primarily.
What started out as a health crisis very quickly became a crisis of rule and law. Barefoot Law data shows that in the years 2020 and 2021, the most prevalent issues reported included domestic violence at 25.6%, land at 18.2%, criminal at 17%, employment and administrative law issues at 8%, among others. Through the innovative use of digital technology, Barefoot Law empowers people with free legal information so that they can use it to develop legal solutions for their justice needs. We do this by broadcasting the law and legal guidance to our users through multiple channels, including mobile phones, free SMS, and toll-free calling lines, the website and social media platforms, radio talk shows, and community outreach programs.
Working with partners like Barefoot Law, we've seen the need to address such issues regarding property ownership, and then maybe you have issues to do with access to justice, because many of our people in this part of the country are not aware of their rights.
Opiyo is one of the over 35,000 people who have reached Barefoot Law with legal inquiries in 2021.
Programo matim radio. Ja win ke be ka lo ka ngom. A win je an long lok ja be ka ri dong. Yer da be ka win na ker ma ke te lo ke fonyo ke dano. Ker ma mier ke te ke lo ka ngom. Ke nan pa ka mo tie ra ke chop dok an ne. Chi ke be camion na gen mo na ma SMS mo ke wai. A chol message an a chwa lo. Ya be sa biar chiel. Chỉ cái quá trình này, dù mà mình in thêm nông LC1 mấy areu chỉ ít tiền lọc anh này bỏ đấy, chỉ anh nói này phone mà bể cái window cái radio này, na guideline mà bể, và đặc biệt đó là mà tôi cá nó, tôi ở đây phải làm điệt.
Like him, many Ugandans are stranded when confronted with legal problems, which would otherwise not have been the case if they had legal information readily available for them to use to protect themselves, their families, and communities.
If our people were exposed to this new technology earlier, I don't think so that it would be so much of a big problem.
I want to thank the Barefoot Law for coming to share with us about law. When they train the community about law, our work will become easy during the mediation.
One focus for Barefoot Law over the 2016-2021 strategic period has been to increase the proportion of women participation across our service platforms to 60% through various projects like the Legal Empowerment for Women using technology and innovation, LEWUTI.
Within that project, we're able to provide support to almost 8,000 women. These are women mostly who are in rural, unconnected areas and did not have the financial resources to hire legal support. We found that through this project, we're able to bring them a great deal of knowledge and information that they may not have otherwise had, and many of them reported to us that they were able to find themselves in a much better situation, legally speaking, and have a much better understanding of their legal rights and protections.
I want to thank very much the Barefoot Law for the project called LEWUTI, which was here in Gulu, and it helped a lot to open the eyes of many people.
In the project, which ran from February 2019 to March 2021, Barefoot Law, along with local partners, trained community mediators, hosted community sensitization programs, radio programs, and incorporated digital solutions to the justice needs of women in Gulu district. A total of over 7,700 women received legal support in the project, which culminated in a national women's forum. Another focus for Barefoot Law has been data privacy and protection, stemming from the 2019 release of the Cyber Laws in Uganda report. The project, empowering human rights defenders with legal and digital fortitude, provided a select group of 119 human rights defenders with knowledge, skills, and fortitude to be legally secure within the laws governing data collection and usage. The cutoff of communities from accessing ordinary means of legal support highlighted gaps in the alternative dispute resolution (ADR) sector. For 62% of our respondents in the Barefoot Law Community Awareness Survey, the pandemic made dispute resolution more difficult, and for 26% of the same respondents, their disputes were caused by the pandemic. Despite being the nearest and most accessible to communities, ADR actors such as community mediators and community-level LCs remain uninformed in legal matters. These play a role in our day-to-day lives, ranging from implementing community health programs, security, judicial functions, among others. Local council courts are also among the top systems where people living within communities in Uganda go to get legal redress, according to our Community Awareness Survey. However, despite all the promise of local council courts, our research has further found that ever since being elected into formal existence in 2018, the members on the local council courts have 1. Received very little support in carrying out their role, 2. Have not been trained in their semi-judicial role, and 3. Have no technical support from government structures.
Tetwawabulwa nti ensonga zino muzikwata zino ze mulina okukwatako, zino temusobola zikwatako, naye bwe twatendekebwa n'aba Barefoot Law baatuwabula mu nsonga nnyingi naddala ez'amaka.
Naffe tuwonyeza ebintu bye twali tuggwamu mu butamanya ng'abakulembeze
kairi bye twali tukola naye ng'ate tubikolera mu bumenyi bw'amateeka nga tetumanyi.
Barefoot Law, through the Nods project, has therefore embarked on training and equipping community leaders with legal information and access to our resources.
Nze neebaza Mukama ayatuleetera ekitongole ekyo ekya Barefoot Law naddala ffe abakulembeze b'ekitundu kino.
Kyannyambako nti obutantuusaako bulabe nga mpisa owa chairman ne ku magezi ge baamuwa ge yakozesa okola ki okuyingira mu nsonga zange n'obwaleero we tuyimiridde nga n'obwaleero munnyongeddeko amagezi amalala.
This is to extend legal support to community members by connecting them to our platforms, persons, and materials, or provide direct frontline responses and support to serve the last-mile communities that do not have access to existing legal support mechanisms or digital technologies.
Okuva lwe twatendekebwa n'aba Barefoot Law, waliwo ekikyuseemu, twayambibwa nnyo mu by'amateeka kubanga baatuwa ebikozesebwa ng'amasimu ne batuwa n'ennamba ze tukubako ez'obwereere ne batuwa n'ebipande bye twateeka mu community. Abantu abalala nabo ne tubayigiriza okukozesa ennamba ezo. Wabaddewo okwanguya mu mirimu gino kubanga nabo bangu, buli we tuweereza oba bibuuzo batwanukula mu bwangu ne batugaidinga.
With our support, we have helped over 900,000 people more willing to take on these legal problems that they have in their lives in order to resolve them. We have managed to help a lot of people who were previously either not going to deal with their legal problem or who had given up on it entirely. So we have helped mothers who have been evicted from land to reclaim it. We have been able to help people whose land has been grabbed by greedy relatives through succession quarrels to be able to lay a claim and work towards reclaiming it. We have also been able to help people who did not know about will writing to make proper wills so that their family could be protected.
Barefoot Law is working with the LCs. The LCs are now conversant with the Nodes application, and they are using it. But now it is limiting other stakeholders who don't have it.
In the future, we are looking at more grassroots interactions. We are looking at working with leaders at the community level, representatives, and we are also building up robust partnerships with organizations at the grassroots. We look at improving our technological capacity so that we can handle even more cases and we can help people resolve the disputes that they have. So we are looking at a broader and more in-depth application of our services so that we can help everyone that needs help, especially if they are underserved and in a rural community, whether or not they directly have access to the internet or technology. We are looking to reaching out and serving them.
I thank the Barefoot Law staff for their resilience through these times. We were forced to go to the gutters, to the trenches, and yet here we are. But most importantly, I thank the Barefoot Law beneficiaries and users for all the resilience they've shown and the trust they've had in the law as a tool to resolve their problems, even when all hope seemed to be lost. We look to extending this service beyond Uganda, across the region, across Africa, to meet our goal, which is to have this service available to 50 million people across Africa by 2030, because that's when the current development cycle comes to an end. Every day we remind ourselves about the service we are providing to people. I don't want to forget that, to people. And this would have not been possible without the support of our partners that have been with us on this journey, that learned with us during the lockdown, and will continue supporting and learning with us as we move towards our big, hairy, audacious goal. I thank you.